Hi, everyone, and welcome to Accelerating Software Innovation with AI-enhanced no-code capabilities. Today, we'll be looking at a time-efficient way of building, iterating, and deploying applications using the power of AI to help you get started, and then use the convenience of no-code to help you get to the application you're looking for. Once upon a time, application development was only for the few who could code themselves, and for everyone else, we had to get a project sponsor. However, there's a more convenient way, and that's what we'll be looking at today. Just in time for the holiday season, we're including a free gift with your attendance to this webinar. So stay tuned until the end of this webinar for more details. My name is Sheehan. I am the VP of Sales of Modern Requirements, and from the thought leaders and developers from our team comes Codeless ONE. I'll be walking you through a few slides today to help you get familiar with Codeless ONE. And then I'll be turning it over to Mal, our VP of Product Development, to show you how it works. Codeless ONE puts you in the driver's seat of app development, regardless of your ability, yet it's able to produce a high-fidelity, scalable application. Before we begin today, just a few reminders. We'll be sending the recording of this webinar to your inbox by the end of the week. It will also be available on our website in the next couple of days. We've allocated time at the end of the presentation for Q&A, but also feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A window at any time. Please do not ask questions in the chat. We will address these as best as we can at the end of the webinar. If we run out of time and we couldn't get to your question, or you have additional questions that come up afterwards, we'd be happy to hop onto a quick call with you and answer them directly. Details to follow at the end of the webinar. There's also a survey that will pop up at the end of the webinar. Please take a few moments and provide your valuable feedback so that we can keep improving on these webinars to suit your needs. Codeless ONE is a product of Modern Requirements. Modern Requirements has been in business for over 20 years, a Microsoft partner for 13 years, and most recently, the makers of Copilot for DevOps. Modern Requirements is a trusted partner to some of the most recognizable brands, and here are a few. In fact, Infotech Software Reviews named Modern Requirements a gold medalist and champion in their research over the last 3 years. All whilst the Modern Requirements team drives innovation in the requirements management space, our research and development team has been using those learnings from Modern Requirements and developed Codeless ONE. Here are a few of the most common client challenges in application development Codeless ONE can solve. To highlight a few, we've heard from our recent clients that they had struggles with resource constraints, lack of agility, complexity for non-technical users, and the high cost of development, and not to mention long development time, to name just a few. The simplicity of Codeless ONE addresses these challenges head on, and I'm pretty excited to show you how today. Before we do, I want to kick off a bit of a poll to get your thoughts and to help tailor our presentation today. Can everyone see our poll? Great. I'll give everyone just a moment to answer, and we'll go from there. Almost have everyone respond. Let's give everyone just another moment. Great. Well, it's interesting. The feedback that we've gotten is that more than half of the folks on the call today say the high cost and lengthy development time is one of their biggest challenges. Second to that is testing and quality assurance. Interesting. And then the third being resource constraints. And you know what, this is not uncommon. We are hearing this from our clients as well. And that's one of the impetus for us to really dive into developing a no-code AI enhanced app development program. So this is great. And we're gonna hopefully give you some ideas on how you can potentially solve some of those challenges you're faced with today. All right, moving along. One of our core beliefs here at Modern Requirements and Codeless ONE is our time is our ultimate currency. How you choose to spend it matters. We believe we found a way to help you reduce the time to value in building and launching enterprise level applications without compromise. So let's take a look how. In 3 simple phases, which we are going to demonstrate to you on this call, you'll be able to have a fully functioning application. First, you kick things off by leveraging the power of your AI to outline what sort of application you're looking for. Codeless ONE will then prompt you for a few additional details, such as which fields you'll need, what sort of relationships the data needs to have, and within a few minutes, you'll have your first iteration. Getting to the outcome you're hoping for requires some fine-tuning, which brings us to our next phase, rapid iteration. Using no code and friendly suggestions from AI, you'll be able to iterate quickly and play with your new application. Once you're satisfied, it's on to the final phase, and with one click, you'll have the ability to launch your application. It's that easy, and we're going to show you how to do it today. Easy doesn't necessarily mean basic. Codeless ONE has the ability to stretch and incorporate data management, analytics and calculations, be a place where folks can collaborate, help with workflow automations, and can be mobile ready, or even be a prototype for more advanced application development projects that require full stack development. I'll just take a moment and give you a moment to digest the different elements of Codeless ONE and its capabilities. A few examples of the sorts of applications you can build on Codeless ONE are shown here. Project management, Excel automation, administration, process automation are just a few to name that Codeless ONE has the ability to help you build simply. You don't have to have the ability yourself to be a coder to build these programs, and you don't necessarily even need sponsorship of a project to be able to kick off any of these applications. Codeless ONE puts that power in your hands and puts you in the driver's seat. The one element here I do want to call out, and I really want to point your attention to the many more, is that Codeless ONE as a platform can also be a super app whereby several of these applications can be built on the platform and have shared data elements. And we're very excited to show you that in our demonstration that's going to follow shortly. Deployment is as easy as simple as one click. It's a hosted solution, it's scalable, and it's pay as you go. That said, security is critical when managing your applications, and you'll find the ability to manage users, their rights, access levels. You'll be able to host it if that's what you prefer. And as an organization, we are SOC 2 certified and ISO 9001 compliant. If your organization has yet to formalize their AI strategy, the AI component of Codeless ONE can be turned off. And Codeless ONE can operate as a no-code app building platform. Going this route removes some of the convenience up front. However, it's simple to get started, and we can show you how. This brings me to the free gift. Actually, no, before I get there, everyone wins with Codeless ONE. The source of folks who we found who are most excited about Codeless ONE are product owners, IT professionals, leaders, and users. There's really something for everyone. Codeless ONE makes app building more accessible, and the main thing you're going to notice today, it's going to make it fun, and ultimately reducing your time to value. Now I can get to our special gift. So before we dive into the demonstration, I wanted to share with all of you that for joining this webinar today, we're going to be actually going to help you build your first application. So at the end of this call, we're going to have a bit of a poll. We'd like you to respond. If you're interested in taking us up on this offer, respond positively. Our team will reach out, set up a call, and help you start your first build, iterate upon it, and actually put a working copy in your hands so you can decide whether the Codeless ONE is going to be the best solution for you, and potentially other applications that you may have to use it. So with that being said, without further ado, I want to turn it over to Mao, our VP of Product Management. And in Codeless ONE. And for a bit of an agenda, she's going to demonstrate A, how to build an application and how to quickly get started. B, how to iterate upon it. C, the simplicity of deploying it. And then take a look at some of the detailed capabilities of Codeless ONE and how it potentially can automate your workflows. So with that being said, Mao, the floor is yours.
Sure, thank you, Shihan. I hope everybody can see my screen. So good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. As we'll delve into today's demonstration of Codeless ONE, I invite you to envision a reality where your solution development is executed with unmatched efficiency. Today, there will be 3 parts of my demonstration. First, we will start by creating an application from ground up, showcasing how easy it is to bring your initial concept to life in just a minute. And next, you will also see how to make real-time modifications to your application to further customize it to make it uniquely yours. And also for our final section, we will dive into the powerful capabilities of the app, which can be leveraged to address a lot of the real-life challenges you have. All right, so let's start this exciting journey. So now imagine you've identified a business challenge and you're eager to build a solution to address it. For a quick start, you can find a lot of application templates across various business domains in our application library. For example, we have applications to manage your business operations, enhance your business processes, or taking care of your customer support. Just search for what you need in the application library. You can come here and browse some overviews and look at what can be managed in this application and look at some of the highlighted features as well as screenshots. And once you like it, you can simply click install and this application will be ready for you in just a couple of seconds. And then you can choose to explore its functionalities or start to customize it. While application templates offer a great starting point, I would say the true strength of Codeless ONE lies in its ability to build applications from scratch. Normally, no-code app development requires a lot of drag and drop. It could be time-consuming and also tedious. Here at Codeless ONE, we take it further by focusing on automation as well as leveraging AI. To create a custom application, you can simply provide the name of the application. So here, for example, I want an application to manage my customer relations. In addition to the name, I can also provide some description to let the system know what I'm trying to achieve. And here I want to mention that customer relationship management is just one example of the application you can build. You can actually use the same approach to build many applications like your IT support, your ticketing system, your employee management, your asset management, and so on to enhance your business processes and workflow. All right, and now I'm going to click next. And here our AI will jump into action. AI recommends relevant objects for your CRM application. Here, for example, we have lead, account, opportunity, contact, deal, and so on. And if you look at the right-hand side, you can also see for each object, the AI also find recommendations about the properties or the details you can consider to manage. For example, for account, the AI recommends account name, account number, type, industry, and so on. So here I'm just going to make some quick selection. And of course, if you want more recommendations, you can click show more. You can also make some changes on the fly in terms of the property type. as well as, for example, the drop-down values. And now I'm going to click Next. Next, our AI does not stop here. It will also recommend you the relationships you can consider to build for the objects you just selected. So here are recommended by AI. So for example, normally one lead can be associated with one contact. So this is a one-to-one relationship. And of course, you can always make some changes on the fly. Here, on the objects, the properties, as well as the relationships, they form the backbone of your application, or you can call it application schema. And here, I also want to emphasize that you have the option to follow the AI recommendations, or you can simply skip it to manually create your application schema before or after you create the application. And now I'm going to click Create. So this is my favorite part. So this is our highly automated one-click smart app generation. As you could see, the system is getting very busy in terms of creating your dedicated database and also analyzing the patterns of your data model you just finalized, and also generating the default display pages for you, as well as directly deploy this application to the cloud. Now we can just wait for a couple of seconds for the system to do the work. All right, as you could see, in just a few moments, the very first version of your application comes to life. So now we can create some record, just some simple one to showcase the capability. All right, as you could see, the menu item here, and if I drill down to the details, and there are many, many pages, and also the interconnections of your objects and a lot of business logics, they're automatically created by the system. So there's no coding required for sure. And of course, there's no drag and drop required as well. Here we're trying to do is to help you shift your focus towards tackling real business challenges while let the system handle the groundwork through automation. What might traditionally take months is now accomplished in just minutes. Now, after this first version of application is happening right in front of you, next we'll want to do some customization. And customizing an application in Codeless ONE is very straightforward. You can activate this edit mode to make granular changes to the look as well as the functionalities of your application. Here, for example, let me move this GoToMeeting thing. A very simple example, you can say, I want the menu bar on the left instead of on the top. Or I want to change the orders of some menu items. I can do that. And once I'm sure about the changes, I can simply click Update. And you will see these changes happening right away in front of you. So this type of editing approach, we call it inline edit. And here's my favorite part. You see your changes unfolding in real time right after you make them. So there's no more back and forth requirement changes, development, testing, and releasing. And if you're not happy about the changes, you can simply revert it. And since there's no coding required, you really don't have to stress about, oh, some of those changes might cause damage or cause disruptions to my application. We've done the heavy lifting of testing your application even before you create it. So your entire application will be bug-free and stress-free. Now, after some quick fine-tuning, you can showcase your application to your team and gather feedback, or further fine-tune it through a few iterations. And this process depends on the complexity of your application, might take to a few hours to a couple of days. And I want to say something more here, because it's so quick and easy to reach to a point where you can have a working model. And if you're looking at a project and thinking, oh, my project might be too complex for a no-code solution, I agree. No-code is not the solution for every software development need. However, you can use your Codeless ONE application as a functional prototype to guide your future development. By providing a clear and interactive representation of your final product from the very beginning, it can help you clarify your project requirements and significantly speed up the development process. Now, I guess you're getting the picture. Making an application and fine-tuning an application with Codeless ONE is pretty easy and quick. Now, probably you're wondering what kind of challenges can help me solve and how powerful this application is going to be. And that's exactly what we're going to dive into next. So here I have a more fleshed out application with some sample data, so it's easier for me to show the capabilities of the application. A Codeless ONE app houses a lot of robust capabilities. In this particular example, I've built an application for the compliance management, because I know some people here today come from insurance, automobile, or pharmaceutical companies. So I think this compliance management could be a good use case example to share. And just for your reference, internally, we actually built our entire compliance processes for including SOC 2 management, all using Codeless ONE. All right, so first, a modern application is about how to manage your data efficiently. In your application, the data visualization is very flexible. You have many options to view your data. For example, in addition to this table view, traditional table view, you can also visualize your data or your records in a split view, where you can see the summary information on the left, as well as the details on the right. So you don't have to switch back and forth. Or you can show each record in a card. In addition to that, we also have interactive Kanban board, where you can choose to group your records, for example, for the control objectives by status, as well as by who is the task owner. And here I can also drag and drop to change the status of the record. And if you have more sensitive data, you can also visualize them in a calendar view. And now if you drill down to the details of a record, you can see the information are nicely organized here. You can directly change the status, look at the details under different sections, and also you can check the cross-reference data here. So for example, this control objective is connected to many activities. So as a risk assessment, so for the cross-reference data, which is what we hear a lot of complaint from people using spreadsheet. So really, you don't have to go here and there to check the cross-reference data. Everything can be nicely located here. In addition to that, you can also upload attachment, checking the history of this record, who made what changes at which point in time, or have some internal discussions. And here, I want to emphasize another thing is the biggest difference between a Codeless ONE app you're looking at and another applications you've seen in the past is everything here in this application is dynamic in terms of what objects, properties, details you want to manage in this application is dynamic. In addition to that, the functionality, the user navigation, and the look, even the font size, font family of your application is fully configurable. That is the power of no code. All right, now I want to jump to the data analytics and reporting capabilities. First, in addition to manage all records, I can choose to manage just a subset of records by using this list feature. For each list, I can run some dashboarding, mini dashboarding using the chart. For comprehensive analysis, you will for sure need our comprehensive dashboard. Here, we support many different types of charts and widgets. And you can simply drag and drop to design your dashboard. And there's no limit of how many dashboards you can create. In addition to that, you can also use our reporting feature. This is one of my favorite features to enhance your reporting efficiencies. And it's super easy to use. You can choose what columns you want to show and apply some filters and build many reportings. You can also group the records and also do some calculation aggregation as well. All right, so far we've covered data management or data analytics capabilities. So I will consider them as the basic features of a modern application. And now I want to talk about workflow automation. So the workflow automation in Codeless ONE is very robust. However, I don't want to drill down to a lot of details. And just some simple example here, we can set up, for example, approval workflow. As you could see, some tasks are waiting for your approval. You can either approve it or reject it after looking at the details of this application. You can set up a task workflow or expense workflow or project approval workflow. And a lot of things here are dynamic. You can choose when this approval will be triggered and who will be the reviewer, and also what actions you want to have it here. And in terms of more complex workflows, our workflow center will do the work. So you can build a lot of the workflow logics with both your internal and external systems using our workflow and integration center. All right. So the last puzzle we're going to solve today is what we call a super app to enhance your team collaboration. Now imagine a team much like yours is working on this intricate compliance management project. So you will have many different types of stakeholders, like the compliance managers, the auditors, and team members. So each team member play a role in this application. So the need for seamless collaboration is paramount. Now take this compliance management application, for example. It features 3 interlinked application portals. This is what we call a super app. For example, in the compliance management application, the compliance managers can use it to design protocols and procedures, while team members can use this incident reporting portal to just report the incident without seeing the other unnecessary information. And also here we can set up role-based access. For example, as an employee, I can only see incidents which is reported by myself, but not by others. However, as the administrator, they can see everything happens in this entire process. The same idea, your auditors can also find a specialized portal which is designed for reviewing and auditing compliance work with efficiency as well as privacy. And in this super app, the configuration is very, very straightforward. Actually, a few clicks will do the work. And for the role-based access, you can set up many different roles here and control what user can do in this application and what information they can access through precision. For example, from a contributor, I can choose to make some information read-only or no access. And for some detailed information, you can do that as well. So make some information no access or read-only. So by that, you can control who has access to which part of your application, which part of your information with precision to protect your data privacy and also security. And of course, if you have data somewhere else, we can always help you integrate with your Codeless ONE application with other systems, either using this spreadsheet import or through our comprehensive integration center. All right, that is my demo, and that is Codeless ONE in a nutshell. So the summary I want to mention here is that it is a true no-code experience that redefines how we approach problem solving in the digital world today. And it can empower your organization to achieve more with less. We leverage automation and AI to get your application as far as we could. So you can focus on the business challenges you're dealing with. And remember, time is our ultimate currency. And now I will hand it back to Shihan, and thank you everybody for staying with me.
Thank you, Mao. That was amazing. I mean, after 21 minutes, basically, you were able to create an app. You were able to iterate upon it, talk about the capabilities, and that's really the power of Codeless ONE. The ability to take a concept, turn it into an application, refine it, and ultimately put yourself in a position to launch it. So with that being said, there actually are a bunch of questions now. So I'm going to dive right into some of these questions. And then, yeah, if you don't mind answering, we do have Asif Sharif, our Chief Technologist and Founder as well, available to answer some questions. So I'm going to just dive right into it. So the first question we have is, can you elaborate on the security of the data? Again, one more time, can you elaborate on the security of the data?
Yeah, let me take this. Hey folks, this is Asif. I'm the founder of Bundle Requirements and Codeless ONE. Security has been a central theme in our development of Codeless ONE. So we provide security in many ways. So of course, all transactions are encrypted. You will have your own dedicated database, private database for each of your apps. So it's not a multi-tenant shared database, if you will. It's a dedicated database for each of your app. That just is an important architectural choice we made from a data security point of view. Plus, data access is controlled through user rights and permissions. So as Mao was showing earlier, you can control which entity and attributes certain roles would have access to. So you can control the tables and columns in the table in the most traditional language that certain people would have access to. But on top of that, you can create these data islands. So if you are in a team that is supporting, say, Toronto, you will just see your records that are assigned to Toronto, but somebody else who is looking at records in Seattle or looking at records in Sydney, then they'll just see records in those regions. So you can actually segment your data in a very versatile manner. So security is a central theme throughout our Codeless ONE design, and there are many levels and controls you have for that.
Brilliant. Thank you, Asif. Hope that answered your question. Jump into the next one here. It's a two-parter. The first part is, can you integrate with existing code? Actually, I'll start with that one, Asif and Mao, and then maybe I'll do the part two after, because maybe I'll ask it. Can the code be platform specific? Android, iOS, web, or API? Again, this two-part question. Can you integrate with existing code? And number two, can the code be platform specific?
Right. So we do have various integration technologies built. So one is the integration workflow that Mao is showing. So you can define your business process model and define how data comes in and out and how it integrates with other systems, either because those systems are already supported by Codeless ONE or through a REST interface that it supports. We also have REST APIs available so that you can integrate to custom apps that you might have built yourselves within your organizations. So you can use that. We also support Zapier as an integration platform. So you can use Codeless ONE connector in Zapier and connect it to a variety of, I think, a couple of thousand different systems that Zapier in turn would connect to. So there are multiple options available for integrations. In terms of supporting of applications on mobile, tablet, and desktop, our applications are responsive. So we've taken a responsive approach to be able to support any form factor in all of those options of tablet or mobile or desktop. So the application will resize itself and reorient itself based on the size of the screen you're working on. So that's the approach we have taken. So you build it once and you can deploy it everywhere. You can access it everywhere. Of course, the deployment is cloud-based, but the use can be on any device using the browser in that device.
Excellent, thank you. The next question is, can I import existing database schema? Can I import an existing DB schema? Yeah.
So today you can import data from Excel. So Excel will be used to automatically create a schema, import the data, and you can start using it. So that's one option you have. Um, we are currently working on importing a database schema as well as XML or JSON data definition files. So in the next few months, you will see many other types of database schemas that we will be able to import, and then you can use that to build your Codeless ONE app. For now, however, you would need to use, ideally you'd use our AI component, and in the description, just put in the details of your schema, and the recommendation would read the details, and then it would generate make the recommendations accordingly.
Thank you. Next question. Can this app integrate with Azure DevOps, ADO, or Jira?
Yes, so the answer to this is the same one as I gave earlier. The integration to ADO and Jira, if you're talking about in terms of you want to build a custom app and then you want to integrate with with Jira or ADO, your custom apps can be integrated using either one of our process workflow connectors, Zapier, or APIs. So that you can do today. We are developing our own requirements management component, a lightweight agile requirements management into Codeless ONE, which is going to be out in the next couple of months. And we will be also providing as a platform, as a platform, we'll be providing native integration into both Jira and ADO in the next few months to come.
Oh yeah, that's pretty exciting. Thank you for sharing, Asif. Next question is, who owns the code? One more time, who owns the code?
Yeah, so the answer to the who owns the code really is any application that you create is yours, okay, from Codeless ONE. Of course, Codeless ONE itself is a modern requirements product, but any product you're creating from Codeless ONE is yours. That data is not used for used internally by Codeless ONE or is accessible to anybody else. So that is your IP, as well as, of course, once you create the app, you use the app, you add data to it. Of course, all of that is your IP. So really, you're using Codeless ONE to create your own IP.
Okay. The next question I have here, Mao and Asif, is if I turn off AI, what would be the first step in using Codeless ONE?
If you turn off AI, so there's a couple of things AI is doing. So one of the things it does is it does a recommendation on the schema, given whatever input you're going to give it. And so that process normally would take anywhere between 2 hours to 6 hours or a day to create a good schema. With our AI, we reduce that to 10%, right? So it'll take an hour as opposed to say a day. Okay, so that's the difference to define the schema. And so if you turn it off, you will actually define the schema manually, and you'll define the entities, objects, and relations. However long that takes is the extra effort you have to do. After that, all the automation is part of Codeless ONE, as you saw today. So that's the real work where disabling AI is going to cost you. So it's a nominal cost, but upfront, if you can use AI, it does sort of get things done a bit faster. It saves you a few hours upfront, but in the big scheme of things, the impact is nominal.
That's interesting, and thank you. The second last question, and folks, feel free to add any additional questions you may have. Oh, we got another one. Is there support readily available if I need help building an application? Again, is there support readily available if I need help building an application?
Yeah, so there's a two-part answer to that. So yes, I mean, you can certainly reach out to our support team and they'll guide you and help you in what you need to do. Plus, Shihan is going to make an offer shortly, or he already talked about it actually, and I guess we'll bring up a poll shortly to see how many of you actually need help in building an app. And we'll do the first app for you for free. Work with you guys, train you up in Codeless ONE. But the goal is to use just a few hours to flush out an app for you that you can share it with your teams. And if you love it, you can just sort of say, yeah, let's use it in production. You can go live with it, or you can just use it as a proof of concept of a product that you're going to build in some other way.
Perfect. The next question we have here is, how do I get started on the free app? I'll take that one. So we're going to be launching a poll shortly, and you can select or elect to be part of that. And someone from our Codeless ONE team will reach out and set up a call, and we'll get you started right away on that free app and the support that we provide in doing so. So thank you for that question. The next question, Mao and Asif, is which language is used to code the app? Again, which language is used to code the app?
So we use a lot of new technologies to code the app. So we use a variety of bleeding edge technologies. By the way, when you deploy the app, because you see the app Mao showed you earlier, the compliance app, that app actually has a few hundred pages, okay, and a bunch of logic surrounded by the reporting and dashboarding and notification and integration and workflow and so on and so forth. So that particular app was a very significant app. If you had built that app as a custom dev, this would have probably taken a team of 10 to 15 people about a year to 18 months if you had a good competent team. That's how long it would have taken. and now build that in less than a day and populate it with data, right? So what we don't do is, it's not that we're creating conventional source code files that developers would build manually, but it's really a meta framework that is used to execute the application and realize the application on the fly. So things are really created on the fly and glued together and so on and so forth. Because I had you to create 500 pages and all the components as static code, it would have taken forever, and then maintaining that is another massive endeavor. So the strategy we have taken it that you can literally build these apps in minutes, and maintaining it is much easier. In fact, we were working with a with a prospect of ours, and they were saying when they want to make a change to their current application, just add a field. It takes a long time, weeks sometimes, just add a field to an app. Um, and now with Codeless One, you can make that change instantly in minutes. And not have regression issues in the process, right? So having the right architecture, and that's the beauty of Codeless One. At least as a geek, I can tell you the brilliance of Codeless One is its agility in being able to morph to changing needs over time.
There's a couple more questions here. The next one on the docket is the integration also no code? Again, is the integration also no code?
So there are three types of integration. There's the integration workflow, that is no code. There's Zapier integration, which is also no code. And then there is an API we expose, which is of course coded because it is a REST API.
Brilliant. And the next question here is, how are bugs resolved with automated code? How are bugs resolved with automated code?
So what we do is we create when we are creating Codeless One. So imagine this. So this is a really good problem. It's a very difficult problem to solve. And here's what typically people do. So let's say you have a form to register a user. So you take the form, you know what the form looks like, and you can write a bunch of test cases against it. And that's how you test it. Now in Codeless One, we don't know what things are going to look like, what data they're going to have, what rules you're going to have, because there are umpteen different rules you can apply to it. So what we test is at an abstract level, what it is that you're going to produce, and whatever you can figure it needs to work properly. So our testing strategy is to test the abstraction of what may come as opposed to what is, because what is not known yet, if that makes sense. So our testing strategy is really to test the framework and that the output application works properly in the end. So we are doing one level of abstraction out, and that's what we are testing to make sure that no matter what application you're producing is working properly.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for explaining, Asif. And that concludes our Q&A portion of our webinar today. And at this point, what I want to do is I want to kick off a quick little poll for all the folks who are interested in taking us up on our free gift. And there it is. We'll give everyone a few moments to respond. And note, next steps are, if you respond in the positive, someone from our team will reach out and guide you through the next steps on how we can get you up and running quickly with Codeless One. We'll just give it one more moment. Perfect. And thank you. And on that note, I'd like to actually turn it over to Asif again, who is our Chief Technologist and founder of Model Requirements and Codeless One, to wrap up our webinar with a few closing thoughts. Asif, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Shian. Hey, folks. So at Model Requirements, we have two products. We have modern requirements for DevOps, and we have Codeless ONE. Uh, the in modern requirements, we are focusing on helping people define requirements well, so that they can either build software or hardware, firmware, reagents, if you're pharma, or whatever the case may be. So there is if you're building complex large systems, you're building rocket ships, you're building cars and tractors or complex systems, you have to write requirements, you're going to build it, and you'll want to use modern requirements. On the other hand, what we determined was there was a need to be more responsive. Of course, if you look at Agile, Agile has been a very powerful idea, and as such, we wanted to take it to the next level. And to the next level, what we wanted to do was how can we automate Agile to the maximum level, all right? And in fact, many moons ago, this was a concept I had come up with 20 years ago, actually, called IDEA. And IDEA was based on the same underlying principle that we want to be able to create applications simply by wishing it. And that's what Codeless ONE has realized today, is the future is now. You can build application at a very rapid pace, and we can help you do it. So if we can help you, please reach out. We'd love to talk to you. We would love to see how we can solve your problems. And as always, we continue to build our product based on our client feedback. So if you come back and you tell us, hey, what about this scenario or what about this, you'll find us to be very responsive. So to you all, I wish you happy app building with Codeless ONE, and stay well, and we'll speak soon. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.